Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel Mr. Tien, Today's Weather, where we explore the fascinating movements of the sky, the mischievous winds, and those sudden showers that make us run for our umbrellas. Yes, and today, a day in early November, our United Kingdom once again continues to be humid and full of surprises. No terrifying storms, no severe floods, but it's that typical British weather. Damp, cold, with a gentle breeze, and somewhere, the sound of raindrops tapping rhythmically on the window. Early in the morning, if you're in the southeast of England, you've probably heard a few rumbles of thunder in the distance. Thick clouds, heavy with moisture, have brought some fairly large downpours, and luckily, they're starting to fade. However, fading doesn't mean it's over, because behind those clouds there are still light, scattered showers, as if the sky just doesn't want to stop. In other regions, especially northwest Scotland, the sky is composing its own symphony of rain showers, complete with special effects. Thunder and hail. Yes, that's right, hail in November. Nobody hopes for that. But people living in the Scottish Highlands are probably used to this kind of spontaneity. Along the coastal areas around Heads, the wind is getting stronger. The cool southwesterly winds sweep along the shore, curling up the white waves. If you're taking a walk by the sea, make sure your hat is secured, because with just one playful gust, it might decide to take a trip out to sea. However, it's quite wonderful that some areas are starting to see weak golden sunlight piercing through the thick clouds. A very typical British moment. Sunshine and rain coexisting, creating a magical reflection on the wet pavement. The sun may be out, but the air is still quite chilly. Temperatures hover around 10 to 13 degrees for most of us. If you're heading out, don't forget to put on a warm coat and maybe a light scarf, both for warmth and a little bit of fashion for this late autumn morning. The morning feels fascinating. The sound of wind, the drizzle, and then suddenly, sunlight glinting through the trees. A moody kind of weather, but it makes the scenery across Britain come alive like never before. However, that little joy won't last long. By late afternoon, Northern Ireland starts to shift. The sky darkens, thick clouds roll in. It feels like nature is preparing for a gentle, rainy night. Scattered showers quietly blanket the space, and then they move eastward, spreading across most parts of the UK tonight. Tonight will be a gloomy night, streets glistening with water, yellow lights reflecting dimly through the rain. Especially over the hills like and Pennines, rainfall is expected to be quite heavy. If you plan to travel through those areas on Monday morning, make sure to check the roads and drive carefully. Interestingly, although it's rainy, the temperature is warmer than this morning. The humid air and thick clouds prevent the temperature from dropping too low. If we started today with single digits, tomorrow morning most places will reach double digits, a very different feeling. However, clouds will dominate as the new week begins. It'll be mostly cloudy, with scattered showers, and occasionally, some strong gusts whistling past the window, just enough to make you want to stay in with a hot cup of tea and a freshly baked pie. Moving into Monday, southwesterly winds continue to blow strongly across the UK. These winds aren't too cold, but strong enough to send golden leaves swirling through the streets. Rain persists, especially in the west, where high terrain traps clouds and brings more rainfall. The east of England is a bit luckier. There will be some dry intervals, and if you're fortunate, you might even see sunlight peeking through the thick clouds. Daytime temperatures will be around 15 to 16 degrees Celsius, quite mild compared to the average for early November. So even though the sky isn't completely clear, you can still enjoy the comfort of a warm afternoon amidst the damp air. The forecast for Tuesday shows that the situation doesn't change much. Rain continues in many areas, especially in the west. Some places might experience localized flooding, particularly in low-lying regions and near rivers. If you live in these areas, make sure to follow weather updates regularly. The rain might not be heavy all at once, but accumulated water over hours can still cause light flooding on some roads. As for other regions, don't forget, the clouds remain thick, the wind still blows, and temperatures stay mild. A rather well-behaved type of November weather. Not too harsh, but not entirely gentle either. In summary, the start of this week brings a picture of constantly changing weather across the UK. Rain showers and thunder in the north, thick clouds and strong winds in the west, a bit of fragile sunshine in the east, and milder air overall, but still cold enough to make you want to hug a cup of hot coffee. Yes, if you ask me, will there be any sunny days this week? The answer is maybe, but don't get your hopes up. Just keep your umbrella handy, wear something warm, and embrace that classic autumn atmosphere, the season of rain, of wind, and of those poetic landscapes all across the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're holding a hot cup of tea, hold on to it tight, because today we've got a super hot update straight from the latest live UKV radar, with some seriously unstable weather patterns as we step into the first week of November. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Rain again? Exactly. But it's not just rain. We've got wind, clouds, scattered thunderstorms, and even some surprisingly warm temperatures. A drama-filled weather picture, British style. Now, let's take a look at the radar. You'll see bands of showers sweeping in from the south and west. Sometimes light rain, sometimes pouring down like the sky's doing a DJ set. Loud, soft, and with a thunder remix. Winds are also picking up a bit. No storms, don't worry, no massive low-pressure system moving in. But still, enough gusts to make your hair fly everywhere, and maybe send your umbrella on a surprise flight if you're not careful. Simply put, an unstable, wet, and energetic start to autumn. But don't lose hope. There's actually something nice here. The temperatures are surprisingly mild. What's interesting is, even though it's raining, the southwesterly winds are working hard. These winds are bringing in warm air masses from the Atlantic, giving the UK a little gentle heating during these gloomy days. If you're in eastern England, you'll feel it the most. Temperatures could rise to or even above average levels this week. And trust me, for the British, even 15 to 16 degrees Celsius feels like a mini summer. However, don't forget, mid-month could flip the script. High pressure is starting to make a comeback, and around the 10th, northerly winds might sweep in. If that happens, get ready for a drier but colder spell. Not freezing, but the kind of cold that'll make you regret forgetting your gloves. Now take a look. Tonight, around 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, you can clearly see. Some areas are dry, but many places have showers dancing around. Some light, some with thunder, especially in eastern England, where heavy rain just passed through. Luckily, these showers are fading thanks to stronger southwest winds. And yes, it's milder, but the rain is heavier. These showers come fast, go fast, but leave their mark on those soaking wet streets. Over in Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Western Scotland, the weather is still loyal to its traditional wet style. Rain, wind, and sometimes even hail. If you look at the temperature map, you'll see the clear split. Northern and western areas, a bit colder. Southern and eastern areas, milder and more pleasant. Overall, next week looks warmer than average, thanks to those super enthusiastic southwest winds. And that means, even with all this rain, it'll still be mild enough that you won't be shivering. Sunday. The morning might be a bit damp with a few showers, but by afternoon, skies will brighten up. Not bad at all. In other words, a wet first half, nice second half. Sunday night into Monday morning. Another big rain band moves in, this time hitting northern and western areas. Monday morning, wet. Monday afternoon, lots of clouds, but starting to dry up a little. Tuesday, still cloudy, but showers become more scattered and less frequent, giving some areas a brief break of calm between the storms. Wednesday to Thursday, oh, here's the plot twist. Another low-pressure system approaches from the south, bringing fresh rain. And even though it'll be mild, even reaching 17 to 18 degrees Celsius, the rain will still splash right in your face. Classic British wet weather. You won't believe it. Even though it's early November, temperatures could hit 17 or even 18 degrees Celsius. At 850 HPH, about 1.5 kilometers up, air temps are 5 to 8 degrees Celsius above average, very unusual for this time of year. So, we've got a warm but super wet and chaotic week ahead. The weather's like an X. Cold one minute, hot the next, and then suddenly soft again. And now, the part all weather fans love, the long-range forecast. From the 10th onward, the GFS, ECMWF, and GEM models are all whispering the same thing. A cold spell is coming. High pressure may move toward Greenland, while low pressure slides into Scandinavia, opening the northern gate for cold air to sweep into the UK. This won't be deep freeze cold, but it could mark the start of the first chill of winter 2024 to 2025. And if this model trend continues, we might even see a little mini winter by late November. Looking at the latest climate ensemble data, this week, mild but unstable. Mid-month, signs of drier and colder weather. Late month, hints of northeast winds and potential morning frost. Of course, it's still just forecasting. But current indicators show the chances of change are rising steadily. Surface temperatures, 2 meters, are expected to gradually drop as November goes on. Surface pressure is slowly increasing, a clear sign of drier and colder stability. To sum it all up, today's forecast can be wrapped in 3 words: warm, wet, unstable. The first week of November will be dealing with showers, southwest winds, and unusually high temperatures. But as the month moves toward mid-November, cold air might take the stage, signaling that winter is just around the corner. So keep both your raincoat and your warm coat ready, because the weather right now is as unpredictable as the stock market. If you enjoy weather updates that have both rain and shine, hit that like button, subscribe to Mr. Tien, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next exciting weather updates. Thanks so much for watching until the end. See you in the next forecast. And remember, whether it rains or shines, always smile like the British sky after the storm.